moved to bringing on a legend of the Lehigh Valley entertainment, just kind of reporting scene. We have John Moser, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, John Moser.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Just fine, thanks.
Thank you so much again for coming on. Like always, this is such an honor to kind of connect with you. I always tell this story every year, but when I was paying attention to going to the fest just as a fest goer, a fester, I was always checking in with your lists, and you called them picks of the plots.
Yep.
And that was part of the morning call back at then. Mm-hmm. And then now that I pivoted to now doing a daily kind of like selection or curation of bands for people to consider seeing, I think that I just saw that you weren't calling it that anymore, and I was like, I'm going to still kind of carry the mantle.
That's fine.
And then, but I wasn't sure. I didn't know you at the time. So then when I reached out to see if you would be a guest on the show, part of it was also to make sure that I had your permission to call it Picks of the Plots. But yes, so thank you so much for that and for the opportunity to carry that on, that kind of like that on.
I'm honored to have you say that. I will warn you though that people will start questioning your credibility if you call me legendary. That's a little bit too much.
No. It's absolutely true. And because you've reported on the entertainment scene and more, but like the entertainment scene for sure. Not just music, like a lot of the different offerings that the Lehigh Valley has out there. You do interviews with people beforehand, you do reviews afterwards. They're always from a position of like you don't pull any punches. Like you're telling your genuine kind of perspective. I totally remember 2 years ago we both hated Greta Van Fleet, and to me it's refreshing to be able to say, okay, and not everything is great, and you don't just because you're reporting doesn't mean you have to say that everything's great.
Since you opened the door,
Sure.
I'll enter the. I don't remember how long ago this was. 15 years ago.
Sure.
Casey and the Sunshine Band, headline act at Musikfest. I said at that point, it's like, he's over the hill. The songs don't resonate anymore.
Yep.
And he went online. Casey went online and beat me up. And then from stage.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's kind of funny.
From the stage, he referenced my story and then gave me the salute.
Yeah.
All right. So now jump forward. Casey and the Sunshine Band played this year at Easton State Theater.
Sure.
I did an interview with him. I don't know whether he remembered me or not. Probably not. But he was the nicest guy ever.
Right.
And it was, it's that kind of thing. You tell the truth about an instance.
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily mean forever.
Right.
It's that was my viewpoint of what was happening at the time. So.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
And believe me, there are bands and music acts that I absolutely love that I have criticized, but I still love them.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think that only comes from that you care. Like you care to make sure that things are the best they possibly can be, and you're there to kind of report out on that. That's what you're bringing to the table, and I've always appreciated that.
Good.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So, Musikfest of the past. Give us your kind of take on where it's come over the years. Maybe what's some of the best things you've seen evolve over times? What's some things that maybe you're reminiscent about?
Yeah, well, I have literally been a viewer of Musikfest since it started in 1984.
Wow.
And at that time it was a very fledgling festival.
Predominantly polka.
Yeah.
Yep.
More polka than anything.
Right.
But they had they had Don McLean the first year.
Sure.
He was sort of the centerpiece act, and the growth was continual. Mm-hmm. And I think that and I don't think that Musikfest would argue. I think one of the turning points was when they gated the main stage.
Yep.
and made it a, at that time I think it was a 5,000 seated stage.
Sure.
That gave them the revenue to bring in like really top entertainment. And if it wasn't, I believe it was the first year, it was Hootie and the Blowfish, which at the time were huge.
Sure.
Musikfest got them. Musikfest has had the ability to get like acts that are like peaking right when they're peaking.
Yep.
An example of that is the Dixie Chicks, which were a free show.
Yeah.
When they were like ruling the charts.
Yeah.
And the the referenced crowd was 25,000 people on Payroll Plaza in Bethlehem. I was on the very, very fringe of that because people had been waiting all day to get there.
Sure.
And there was a friend who and I didn't see this personally, but a friend who said that the Bethlehem police were pulling out girls over the fencing because it was too
they were getting
packed.
crushed. Yeah.
So that's one thing. They caught acts that were like rising at the perfect time.
Yep.
I did it was for the 25th anniversary Musikfest. I did a look back and my favorite shows, and so much of it was tended toward weather being a part of it. Bobby sitting here, you can
Sure.
but it's stuff, and I repeat this one all the time. Maroon 5, when they were playing, they played. They were playing. The skies were threatening, but they went on and they were playing, and they started their song "She Will Be Loved."
Yeah.
And there's a line in there that says, "I don't mind spending every day out on the corner in the pouring rain." And right as he said that, it gushed down rain.
That's awesome.
As if it was perfect. And
Sure.
it's like, I didn't mind. I don't think anybody in the audience minded the fact that it rained because that was like perfect.
Yeah.
I have several other
Totally.
of my favorite stories. Steve Miller Band was one of the first bands ever to get like rained off. He went on stage, the lightning came and he had to leave.
Sure.
A year or two later, he came back and he came on stage and he said, "I'm making up for that." Literally said, "I'm making up for that show." And he played like 1.5 concerts.
Wow.
And it was wonderful, and everybody loved it.
Yeah,
so that was a memorable show.
Totally. Yeah.
So.
No, that's some great stuff. And now let's talk about this year. Who are you looking forward to on this year's lineup?
Okay, so I'll start by saying the disappointment was the Sixpence None the Richer not playing a free stage. I really like. I'm a fan of Sixpence None the Richer. I like their songs. I was excited to see them free, but as you said earlier, one of their members passed.
Yeah, it was just very like a stroke, and he unfortunately passed away.
And so I'm sad about that. There are, so I have a love-hate relationship with Third Eye Blind.
Okay.
And here's I'll tell you this story. The first time I ever saw them, it was at Crocodile Rock Cafe in Allentown.
Makes sense.
They were packed. Their Semi-Charmed Life was their huge hit.
Yep.
And I had my daughter. It was so packed that my daughter, who was only 5'2", couldn't see over people in front of us. So she was just listening to the music. And they finished the show, left the stage without playing Semi-Charmed Life. Semi-Charmed Life, of course, everybody thinks that's the encore. And they were chanting it for like 10 minutes, and then the lights came on, and they never.
Oh my gosh.
So I was critical of.
Yeah, of course.
Of Third Eye Blind. Then later on, I saw them at Lafayette College, and they were just fine. They played everything.
Yep.
And I think what happened, in my estimation, what happened was they saw that as their star started to dim a little bit.
Yes.
They saw that they needed to engage the audience, and so every time I've seen them since then, I've enjoyed them. They're coming back.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting show to see.
Yep.
A free show.
Yes.
The Verve Pipe has already been mentioned, and I agree. That's a great free
Sure.
show.
Yep.
I think not getting enough attention is Ryan Cabrera.
Oh, yeah.
Who again, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
he had like On the Way Down, True, like he had all these hits.
Huge. Yes.
And he was huge.
Yep.
Like, and he, I saw him at Crocodile Rock, and like the next night saw him at Electric Factory in Philadelphia, which
Sure.
holds 2.5 times. He's back, and I have seen him in the meantime at play at smaller shows, and he's still just as good. Plays those songs with as much emphasis as he has always played them.
Yep.
And so I'm interested in seeing him again. Here's one that hasn't been getting a whole lot of attention, I think. There's a band called American Vanity.
Yes.
They started out, they're a Wilkes-Barre Scranton band. They started out as Burn the Jukebox.
Yes. I think a lot of people know it by that name.
Right. They went on social media and would play sort of like hard rock versions of like popular songs.
Yep.
And they got like 300 million views
Yep.
on social media. And now, they've changed their name. They're actually going to be releasing, or maybe have just released, their debut album. They're going to be playing here, Free Stage, America Plots.
Sure.
On August 3rd. Definitely interested in seeing them.
Yeah.
A couple of others. There's, the Verpipe, as I said,
Right.
has been named. I don't usually, I'm not a fan of tribute bands.
Yep.
And the reason is because in most cases I think that they are just sort of, taking away from the actual artist.
Sure.
The only difference is if the actual artist is no longer performing, okay, tribute band
Sure.
fills people's desire to see them.
Yes.
So there are a couple of tribute bands this year that I actually like.
Interesting.
In the middle of the festival, there's the Warped Band, which bills itself as the official Warped Tour tribute. And
We can neither confirm nor deny.
yeah, and again, it's really good music.
Yeah.
The music, Blink-182, Green Day. The stuff that again 20 years ago plus was like huge.
Yep.
And while those bands are still performing and still touring, they're not nearly as big as and visible as they were. So I think the Warped Tour is the Warped Band rather is something that
It's definitely a clever, obviously a good crowd pleaser for sure.
And then I wanted to add to that. On I think it's the final day, a whole lot of Led Zeppelin tribute. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, have been since the 1970s, if I can say that. And and Led Zeppelin is no longer performing, so that gives them the pass. And they build themselves as the that they have, and they've been a tribute to Led Zeppelin for 30 years or more.
Wow.
They build themselves as having performed the song Stairway to Heaven more times than any other band, including Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
So
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But
so
that's funny.
I'm a Led Zeppelin fan.
But I'll add too, since we're in a tribute band mode. So there's been like some traditions that have started to kick in. One of them is to finish the festival with Billy Bauer's Dave Matthews Band tribute, and now they've added before it Bobby Siegfried's Up and Up Coldplay tribute. So those are now back to back on Stadplatz, which is obviously a fantastic way to, like, if you're just exhausted from the 10 days, park yourself at Stadplatz, check out those two great performances, and then you'll also watch the fireworks from there. It's a nice spot to catch them. Usually it happens before Billy's done, and so like it's night, they all kind of pause. We watch the fireworks, and then Billy closes out the whole festival.
I'm a fan of Billy's original music. So
So yep. It's kind of funny that sometimes he plays an original song in the middle of his tribute. It's like flipping the script on everything.
Yeah.
And then the other tradition on the front end, not a cover band. The Groove Merchants now are like the best way to do the first day, and Bobby and Billy doing tribute stuff at the end is kind of just become the way to start and finish the fest.